Hey, I'm Bob. I've been blind since birth and I'm into Power Rangers. If you like the video, share, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, all that YouTube stuff. This is going to be the second in a series of episode reviews I'm going to be undertaking. And we're going from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Dino Fury, which is the current season that's airing in August of 2021 as I film this. But we're talking about High Five. That's the second episode of Mighty Morphin. And that aired on September the 7th in the year 1993. It's quite a long time ago, if you ask me. And I did own this episode on VHS. I picked it up during the summer of 94 from the same Target where I would nab Day of the Dumpster, Food Fight, No Clowning Around, Happy Birthday Zach, all those Saban single episode VHS tapes that they were cranking out that year. So, yeah, High Five felt like the second episode of the series. The kids were learning the ropes of becoming Rangers. Speaking of ropes, it takes place in the youth center. We first start in the youth center. Jason's perfecting his rope climbing skills. He is pushing himself to the limits when it comes to physical exercise as usual. And Trini, played by the late great Twee Trang, she's afraid of heights. She's not too keen on watching him do this. And Bulk shows up and he's trying to one up Jason, but he winds up pulling the rope out of the ceiling. I guess it's the entire rope assembly. And so he gets a big face of plaster dust and plaster. And I always liked the cartoony, over exaggerated sound effects that they would play whenever Bulk and Skull were pretty much doing anything on screen. And that made me think, when I was watching it as a kid, that he pulled out like a huge chunk of ceiling. I thought Ernie was going to have to do some renovations. And I guess he did, because that rope was back up there at the end of the episode. Who knows? Maybe he did pull out a giant chunk of ceiling. I have no idea, because, there were no descriptive audio tracks on the show back in the 90s. They're not going to put one on there. That would just be nuts nowadays. They'd have so many episodes to record the descriptive narration for. So Rita's trying to invent a time device. She wants to trap the kids in a time warp the same way she did Zordon, as she says. So Billy's also doing the inventing thing, and he has built some communicators. They also serve as teleporters, unbeknownst to Billy. He has tapped into the Morphin grid. So the kids randomly, spontaneously teleport to the command center, and Zordon's like, "Oh, hello there. How are you? Hey, I see you've developed some teleportation devices. How cool is that? You can come here and hang out with me in the evenings after you finish your homework. We can play NES and SNES. You can have some juice boxes and we can chill." So I, I guess that works out pretty well. Works out pretty well for everybody. I guess Zordon doesn't have to just teleport them. They can just zip on over there whenever they need to. So Finster's also inventing something. He's working on a brand spanking new monster. No one's ever seen this thing before, and he calls it Bones. And it's the first monster the kids will have fought. I think that's pretty special. So this is going to be my first Hasbro should make that segment, because Bones should be included in the Lightning collection, and we should get a Squat and Babu 2-pack at some point. It'd be cool to get a little Minions 2-pack there. You could probably put those two in the same 2-pack with some Squat and Babu centric accessories or something. So yeah, Bones is cooked in the Monster-matic, and Rita sends some putties to the outskirts of Angel Grove. I don't know why they're sent down there. I think to wear the kids down before Bones shows up with the time device. And Trini has to overcome her fear of heights here. She's got to reach down into the deepest parts of herself, and she's got to give it her all, which of course she does. Which of course she does. And she saves the life of her teammate Billy, and the putties are defeated, but here comes Bones, and he does wind up throwing the kids into the time warp. I think the word time warp was said so many times in this episode. I wouldn't have seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show as a kid, but as an adult I have. So I kept thinking of the friggin' song, and I thought, well, man, Tim Curry should voice a monster sometime in some iteration of Power Rangers. I think Tim Curry would nail whatever they gave him. He's got such a scary a scary voice, and he's done like scary story narration for Stephen King, and he would just make such a great Power Rangers bad guy, maybe a big boss, a big bad for the season. But that's aside from the point. So yeah, they're thrown into the time warp. Bones is pretty much a horror movie monster. No matter what you do to him, you can stab him with your blade blaster in blade mode. You can shoot him with your blade blaster in gun mode. He just pulls himself back together again. And he cackles maniacally when he does it. So Billy must have seen a lot of horror movies because he surmises, well, you got to go for the head. You got to destroy the head of the monster. You got to kill it with fire. There's this big, I guess it's a pit of magma in there. I don't know. That's all the context clues I have to go on. And well, they throw Bonesy's head into the magma, and bye bye Bonesy. He's kaput. He's not able to pull himself back together from that. And Squat and Babu are there. They have a bomb that they're trying to blow up their time device with. I hope they teleport out of there before they manage to make the bomb go off. That wouldn't go well for them. But the bomb doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and it blows the kids right out of the time warp and back into Angel Grove. Whoopsie. I guess Rita's going to be yelling at you guys later for that. So Rita's not done. She chants Moon Dust Soft and Pliant, send to Earth a Giant. And we get to see the Tyrannosaurus showcase what it can do on its own. You don't get to see any of the other dinosaurs. We get to see the Tyrannosaurus go to town on this behemoth. And he finishes it off with something the wiki article calls a ground breath attack. I was curious because I never really knew what he would do to finish off monsters. You didn't really see the Tyrannosaurus doing that. So I think it's some kind of fire breath attack. The wiki article doesn't really say what it can do. So I'm just going by context clues or a lack thereof. A very, very large lack thereof, actually. And I mean, the day's won, and Zach decides to put on this monster mask and see if Trini really has overcome her fear of heights. And she shimmies up that reinstalled rope as fast as she can, and I guess her fear of heights is no more. Well, she's put it in its place for now. It will rear its ugly head again in the two-parter, The Island of Illusion, later on in the season, which is pretty cool. I like the fact that, it's not just a one and done thing. I mean, you can't just overcome your fear of something in one episode. I like the fact that it is readdressed later on, because it's something that I think a lot of people have to work at. It's not like something on TV. That's the only analogy I could come up with. You really have to work at whatever you're trying to overcome, and it takes more than one instance to do that. I like the fact that it's brought up again later on. So that'll do for High Five. I think it was a fun second episode. I liked the fact that you got to see quite a few firsts. The communicators, you got to see the first two monsters that Rita and Finster made. Yeah, and I guess I should do the second. Hasbro should make that segment. We need the giant too in action figure form. He'd be pretty fun. Next time we're going to be talking about teamwork, and we'll get to see the power weapons for the first time. And like I said, you can watch the episodes on Netflix, or you can just listen to me for 9 minutes. If you really don't feel like watching them, I'll just recap them and review them. It was a fun one. I always love seeing Bulk and Skull getting up to their episodic shenanigans, and the over-exaggerated cartoon sound effects, they're pretty fun too. So yeah, that'll do for High Five. I'll hear you guys next time. Always go for the head. Be careful, you'll fall. And I'll hear you next time, I guess. Bye-bye.